Sitting in my dimly lit living room, I clutched a cup of lukewarm tea, its steam mingling with the heavy silence. My trembling hands betrayed the storm of emotions within me. My gaze drifted to a photograph on the wall, a frozen moment of happiness shared with Tommy. We had both aged since then, but our smiles in that picture were a testament to the love we once had. The same love that Tommy had traded for a 22-year-old girl. "Olivia, we need to talk." Tommy's voice was unsteady, breaking the silence that had settled between us. I looked up, my heart pounding. "What is it, Tommy?" He hesitated, his eyes avoiding mine. I think it's time for us to separate." The words struck me like a bolt of lightning. "What?" "Tommy, we've been together for over 20 years. We've faced everything together." He ran a hand through his graying hair. "I know, Liv, but I've been feeling trapped. Like I'm missing out on life. I need to find myself again, find my youth." Tears welled up in my eyes. "But what about us? What about the life we've built?" Tommy's voice was strained, his face a mask of conflicting emotions. "I'm not saying we have to forget everything, Liv. We can still be friends. It's just that I need to do this." As he began packing his bags, my heart ached with each fold of clothing he placed in the suitcase. "Tommy, please don't do this. We can work through whatever it is. Don't leave me." He turned to me, his expression pained. "Liv, I'm not leaving you. I just need to find myself again." His words were a mixture of reassurance and betrayal. How could he be searching for himself with someone else? As he left, he leaned in to kiss me on the forehead, his touch colder than the autumn wind that swept through the room. Little did I know that this moment was the beginning of a roller coaster that would test every ounce of my strength. "Don't leave, Tommy. Please," I whispered to the empty room, my tears mingling with the bitter taste of the tea. The days that followed Tommy's departure were a blur of emotional turmoil. The weight of his absence pressed down on me like an unrelenting force. The house felt emptier, colder, as if the warmth had been drained along with his presence. But amidst the pain, I found a flicker of determination. If Tommy thought he could just walk away from our life together, he was mistaken. The legal battle over the division of our assets began, a stark contrast to the love letters we used to exchange. The courtroom became a battlefield where our shared memories were dissected into material possessions. The lawyers argued, their words like daggers slicing through the last vestiges of our intimacy. "You can't just abandon Olivia like this, Tommy. You have a responsibility towards her," my lawyer argued vehemently. Tommy's lawyer retorted, "My client is willing to provide for her, but he wants his fair share of what they built together." Sitting in that cold, sterile room, I felt a mix of anger and betrayal. How had we come to this? How had the man who once promised to stand by me become my adversary? The legal proceedings dragged on, each hearing adding to the emotional weight I carried. It seemed that Tommy was more interested in what he could gain from our separation than the love we had shared. His cold demeanor in court shattered the image I had held onto, the image of the man I had loved. One day, as we stood outside the courtroom, Tommy's eyes met mine for the first time in weeks. "Liv, I never wanted it to be like this, but I need a fresh start." "Is a fresh start worth destroying everything we had?" I shot back, my voice cracking with the pain of our broken promises. He looked away, his jaw clenched. "I'm sorry, Liv. I truly am." Sorry wasn't enough. His apology couldn't mend the shattered pieces of my heart, nor could it erase the years we had spent together. As the legal battles raged on, I clung to the fragments of our memories, desperate to salvage some semblance of the love we had shared. As the legal proceedings trudged forward, I found solace in my support system, friends who stood by my side, reminding me of the person I was beyond my role as Tommy's wife. The emotional whirlwind of betrayal and illegal battles began to reshape my perspective. I realized that I deserved better than being caught in the crossfire of Tommy's midlife crisis. One evening, a friend invited me to a local art exhibition. Walking through the gallery, I was captivated by the colors and emotions that the paintings conveyed. One piece in particular caught my eye, a vibrant depiction of a woman breaking free from chains. The artist explained to me how the painting symbolized liberation and self-discovery. I stood there, transfixed, a revelation dawning upon me. It was time to break free from the chains of the past, to rediscover the Olivia I had lost amidst the chaos. The legal battle was still ongoing, but I refused to let it define me. I began taking up painting classes, immersing myself in creativity, and embracing the newfound freedom to explore my own passions. One day, during a break from the courtroom drama, Tommy and I found ourselves sitting across from each other in a cafe. The awkward silence hung heavily between us until he finally spoke up. "Liv, I know I hurt you deeply, but please understand that I never meant for things to turn out this way." I sighed, exhaustion evident in my voice. "Tommy, I'm trying to move forward, to find myself beyond what we had. It's not easy, but it's necessary." He nodded, his eyes reflecting a mixture of regret and longing. "I've been realizing some things too. This whole ordeal has made me question what I truly want." I raised an eyebrow, curiosity piqued. "And what's that?" He looked me in the eye, his voice earnest. "It's not about age or appearances. It's about a connection, about understanding each other." I thought I found that with the 22-year-old, but I've come to see that it was superficial. His words hung in the air, a surprising twist in the narrative. Had Tommy finally realized the emptiness of his pursuit? The hope that flickered within me was cautious, but it was there. Tommy's confession left me both surprised and cautious. The years of legal battles had eroded my trust in him, but there was a glimmer of hope that maybe, just maybe, he was beginning to understand the gravity of his choices. "I'm glad you're starting to see things differently," I replied, my voice tinged with a mix of skepticism and cautious optimism. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I lost sight of what truly mattered. It took this whole mess to make me realize how much I took for granted." As the days passed, Tommy and I began to have more open conversations. Conversations that we hadn't been able to have in years. We revisited old memories, discussed the mistakes we had made, and acknowledged the pain we had caused each other. It wasn't an easy process, but it was a necessary one. One evening, as the sun painted the sky with hues of orange and pink, we found ourselves sitting on the porch of our old house, the house that had witnessed both our joys and our struggles. Tommy looked at me, his expression vulnerable. "Liv, I'm sorry for everything. I'm sorry for hurting you, for not appreciating what we had." I gazed into his eyes, seeing a sincerity that had been absent for so long. "Tommy, I'm not sure if we can ever go back to what we were, but maybe, just maybe, we can find a new way forward." He nodded, a small smile playing on his lips. "I want to be a part of your life, even if it's not as your husband. I want to support you as you rediscover yourself." I looked at him, my heart softening. "And I want you to find your own path, one that's based on more than just external appearances." In the midst of our unfolding reconciliation, news reached us that shook the very foundation of Tommy's newfound relationship. The 22-year-old girl, the one he had left everything for, had left him. Rumors circulated that she had only been interested in his wealth and status, and when the novelty wore off, so did her interest in him. Tommy's face reflected a mixture of disbelief and resignation as he shared the news with me. I guess I was just a means to an end for her. I put a hand on his shoulder, a mix of sympathy and empathy welling up within me. Tommy, this is a painful lesson, but it's one that might lead you to something more genuine. As we sat there, side by side, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow on everything around us. It was a moment of closure, of realizing that the choices we make can come back to shape our futures in unexpected ways. The news of the 22-year-old's departure marked a turning point in Tommy's perspective. The illusion he had chased, the fantasy of recapturing his youth, had crumbled before him. In the aftermath of this revelation, he began to invest more time in rebuilding the relationships he had neglected, including the one with me. Our conversations grew deeper, more genuine, as we navigated the complexities of our past and the uncertainties of the future. It was as if the bitterness and resentment that had festered were slowly being replaced by a shared understanding of the mistakes we had both made. The legal battles, once a fierce battleground, began to lose their intensity. We reached a compromise, dividing our assets in a way that was fair to both of us. It wasn't a perfect resolution, but it was a step toward closure. One afternoon, as we sat in the lawyer's office finalizing the details, Tommy looked at me. "Liv, I know I can't undo the pain I've caused, but I hope this settlement can provide you with some stability." I met his gaze, my heart softening. "Tommy, I've come to realize that stability isn't just about finances. It's about finding my own strength, my own happiness." He nodded, a somber smile on his lips. "I truly hope you find it, Liv." As the legal chapter closed, Tommy and I found ourselves standing at a crossroads. Our paths had diverged, but there was a newfound respect between us, a recognition of the journey we had each undertaken. Over time, Tommy's involvement in my life evolved into a genuine friendship. We spent time together, not as estranged partners, but as individuals who had shared a significant part of their lives. I watched as he rekindled relationships with old friends and pursued interests that had long been put on hold. As for me, I threw myself into my art and my own personal growth. The colors on my canvas began to reflect the vibrant hues of my emotions, and the strokes of my brush told the story of my resilience. The art studio became my sanctuary, a space where I could explore the depths of my identity beyond the role of a wife. In the midst of our separate journeys, Tommy's experiences with the 22-year-old served as a cautionary tale. He saw through the allure of youth and realized the importance of genuine connection. It was a lesson that transformed him, allowing him to become the person he had lost along the way. As time passed, the walls of bitterness and regret that had once divided us began to crumble. Tommy's experiences with the 22-year-old served as a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the consequences of chasing hollow fantasies. He came to appreciate the depth and authenticity that had been present in our relationship, even if he had lost sight of it. Our friendship deepened, and we found ourselves confiding in each other about our struggles, our hopes, and the lessons we had learned. It was as if the wounds of the past had slowly begun to heal, leaving behind scars that were a testament to our growth. One summer afternoon, we found ourselves back in the old cafe where we had shared our first date. The familiarity of the place was comforting, a reminder of the foundation we had once built. Tommy looked at me, a hint of nostalgia in his eyes. "Liv, do you remember that first day we sat here, nervous but excited?" I smiled, the memory dancing vividly in my mind. "Of course, Tommy. It feels like a lifetime ago." He chuckled, shaking his head. "We've come a long way since then, haven't we?" "Yes, we have," I replied, a mixture of emotions swirling within me. Tommy's expression grew serious. "Liv, I know I can never fully make up for the pain I caused you, but I want you to know that I'm grateful for the chance to rebuild our friendship." I looked at him, my heart full. "Tommy, forgiveness doesn't erase the past, but it allows us to move forward. We've both made mistakes, but we've also grown from them." He nodded, a genuine smile gracing his lips. "You're right, Liv." As the years rolled on, the ache of betrayal faded into a distant memory. The house we had once shared became a home for new memories, for laughter and shared moments with friends and loved ones. The scars of the past were a reminder of our strength and resilience, a testament to the fact that even the deepest wounds could heal with time. In an unexpected twist, our journeys of self-discovery led us back to each other in a way we hadn't anticipated. While we weren't romantic partners, the bond we had forged was unbreakable. We had weathered the storm of heartache and legal battles, emerging as individuals who had found their footing once more. The story of Olivia and Tommy wasn't a typical love story. It was a tale of betrayal, growth, forgiveness, and redemption. A story of how even the most painful experiences could pave the way for new beginnings and unexpected connections. As the years continued to pass, Tommy and I found ourselves in a place neither of us could have predicted, a place of genuine friendship and shared experiences. Our lives had taken different paths, yet our journeys had converged in a way that was both unexpected and beautiful. Tony's pursuit of his own happiness led him to rediscover old passions and explore new interests. His determination to live a life true to himself became a source of inspiration for me. I had built a thriving art career, sharing my emotions and stories with the world through my paintings. One day, as we sat on the porch of my art studio, overlooking the serene landscape, Tommy turned to me with a contemplative expression. "Liv, I can't help but think about how different things might have been if we had made different choices." I glanced at him, a gentle smile on my lips. "Tommy, we can't change the past, but we can shape our future. Our choices, even the painful ones, have led us to this point of growth and understanding." He nodded, his gaze fixed on the horizon. "You're right. I'm grateful for the friendship we've built." Our friendship had become a safe haven, a place where we could be ourselves without pretenses or expectations. Our conversations ranged from reminiscing about our past to discussing our dreams for the future. The wounds of betrayal had transformed into scars that we wore with pride, reminders of our resilience and the lessons we had learned. As time went on, a new chapter began to unfold. Tommy found love once more, this time with someone who appreciated him for the person he was rather than the status he held. It was a love built on genuine connection and shared values, a love that didn't seek to fill a void, but to complement a life already well lived. And as for me, I found love in unexpected places as well. A fellow artist who saw the world through a similar lens and appreciated the stories woven into my paintings became an integral part of my life. Our bond was built on mutual respect and a shared passion for creativity. One evening, as the sun painted the sky with hues of orange and purple, Tommy and I sat on the porch once again. "Liv, who would have thought that our journey would lead us here?" he mused. I smiled, a sense of contentment settling within me. Life has a funny way of surprising us. Our story isn't one of fairy tale endings, but it's a story of growth, resilience, and the beauty that can emerge from even the darkest moments. As the years continued to unfold, our lives continued to intersect, woven together by the threads of friendship and shared experiences. The pain of betrayal had transformed into a story of redemption, reminding us that even when love takes unexpected turns, it can still lead us to a place of healing and newfound connections.